You're
You
over
could say
JetBlue.
50. You could
Oh,
say
oh, oh,
50
the Jet Set
pounds
holiday.
per person.
I can't even hear that song anymore. Like I hear just that part of it and it ruins it. It's like you can say
Like,
50 pounds per person. That's up to 200 pounds for a family of four. It's like, thank you, Love Island. Which was new for me, by the
yes.
way. Like I got into Love Island because of the LinkedIn girlies. Like they were like, you can come to the group chat, honey. You're welcome. And I was like, oh my God, I feel so special. She got married at 19, dyed her hair jet black, went viral on Twitter, got emotionally body slammed by brands, and still somehow managed to monetize LinkedIn without becoming annoying. She is the hamburger. She is the helper. She is Briana. And this is the episode that might get us both shadow banned, published, and sponsored all in the same week. Welcome to Things My Friends Say I Shouldn't Be Doing, the podcast where we don't just spiral, we build a brand out of it and go viral. Hi, I'm Danny, content creator, thought leader, but only in lowercase letters, CEO of You Probably Shouldn't Say That on the Internet, but I did. Welcome to Things My Friends Say I Shouldn't Be Doing, the podcast for people who don't just think outside the box. We turned the box into a post and then sold it as an ebook. This is the show for the too online, the too honest, too chronically excellent, the ones who weaponize content creation, who schedule their spirals, and who know that trauma, when processed correctly, can become merch. So if you've ever gone viral by accident, or your inner voice has a brand strategy, or if your nervous system is your niche, congratulations, you're home. Hi, Briana.
Hi. That was
Hi.
the best introduction.
Well, let's rewind a little bit. So, Briana, you blew up on Twitter in, what was it, 2016, I believe?
2014, 2015.
Okay, so even before it was rebranded as like the emotional crime scene that we know it as today.
Oh, yeah. Like, it was super early.
So you had the followers, the exposure, all the chaos, but instead of monetizing it with like a morning routine and a matcha discount code, you spiraled into burnout. Iconic.
Yeah.
Tell me,
Very quickly.
what was your villain origin story moment? Like, was it a tweet, a DM? Was it the jet black hair?
The jet black hair was obviously a spiral. To this day, I've never gotten my hair color back to the original roots because of that. But the viral thing on Twitter was I had built a community in about 6 months of 20,000 followers. And in today's time, that's probably like 500,000 followers on TikTok because it was Twitter in its heyday. And I had a lot of brands start reaching out about, how are you doing what you're doing? Chegg was one of the first ones to slide in my DMs. And I remember they were telling me, like, we spend millions on our marketing team and we're not even getting like the kind of exposure that you're getting. And they were like, we just don't understand it. I'm like, you need to fire your marketing team, first of all, because apparently the creativity is not there. But the moment that I think I know it was my like breaking point was finding out that the people who were supposed to be my managers, the people that I trusted as my mentors, who had said, we're going to become your managers, we're going to get you brand deals, we're going to get you in front of brands, were pitching themselves to brands and using all of my data. And I
Mm.
found this out because Zippo was one of the earlier brands that wanted to work with me, and they had sent me PR packages. And I had talked to their team and I said, okay, here's my manager's contact. Like, I'm going to put you two in touch. let's set up something, thinking, like, I'm going to walk out of this, like, this is my moment. I'm going to start getting brand deals. Here we go. And about a week after I had put them in contact, I was like, I haven't heard anything back. So I reached out directly to the marketing rep at Zippo, and we get on a call, and she kind of told me everything. She was like, look, they said it was going to be $10,000 to work with them. It wasn't just you, like, and I was like, excuse me, like, they're profiting off of what I've created, and I was not getting a cut of it.
Yikes.
And it was that moment where I was like, I'm done. I don't know how to do this. Clearly, I'm just going to get taken advantage of. And I stopped pretty much all of my stuff, and I became a content producer for a media company, and I had interviewed the vice president of a cannabis social media app at the time. It was called the Doobie app. And he called me a week later, and he was like, hey, we want you to become our social media director. And I was like, okay, I'm out. And that was the moment that I officially started working in marketing and left the influencer stuff behind, because it was so new at the time. I didn't have a plan. There was no, you couldn't Google it. There was no AI for help. It really was only if you know someone who truly is going to look out for you in the best way. And I didn't have that. I had two people who took advantage, and it wasn't just me. It was a whole community of people that they never paid. These were writers for SNL, writers that worked in TV production. I mean, these were really big people, and they took advantage of every single person in that community.
Cringe. Absolute cringe. If you could travel back to that time and talk to Briana, what would you say to her? And do you think she would even respond, or would she just like scream into a box of hamburger helper?
Oh, she would listen, because it was like, if I had the knowledge that I have now from a 10-year marketing career to take back then, like, I would have never started working for brands. And I've even said that in my interview at Good Influencer. I'm like, if I had this kind of resource, years ago, I never would have started working for them. I would tell myself, don't get involved with people that you don't really know. Don't trust anyone unless there's contracts in place to protect you, not the brand, but you. And take a course in social media marketing, because that was probably what would have been around at that time. Not necessarily this. And then I should have been more vocal about the people on Twitter who were taking advantage of me, because they're still around. They were still doing this up until about 2018. I've actually recently connected with somebody on LinkedIn who knows them, who was also taking advantage of them. And we plan on doing a LinkedIn Live soon to talk about everything that happened back then. But yeah, I looked at it as like, I didn't want to burn a bridge, and I was so young. I was like, I don't want to put all this out there, because I was so worried about being attacked by them, like cyber attacked. And
yeah,
I would have just talked about everything. I would have put their names out there. I would have said everything that they did.
Yeah, I mean, that is something that you do have to take into consideration when working in this kind of field, especially working for yourself, freelancing, entrepreneurship. Like, the client, 9 times out of 10, if you're going for the right types of client, may have more resources than you do in regards to dealing with the fallout of a bad relationship. So yeah, know who you're dealing with before you start dealing with them, and CYA, get that contract, cover yourself, bitch, cover yourself. Obviously, you made the statement about taking courses in social media marketing and being in the digital sphere of things, the content machine, if you will, for the last decade. I'm sure you've come across hate comments. What would you say is your favorite hate comment? The one that you looked at and you were like, well, shit, I don't even know if I can be mad. That's kind of fucking poetic.
Um, I honestly don't know, for me personally, if I've ever come across hate like that, because I have always blocked anyone for, like, if I feel like you are aggressive or things are gonna get weird, um, I tend to, like, block that kinda stuff out just because I don't ever wanna feel like I'm an open door. It's like, would you, if you're at home and somebody knocked on your door and you open it and they start ripping your entire house, like, oh, this house is a piece of shit, I hate your walls, your kids are ugly, your outfit's stupid, like, are you gonna let them in the house, or are you gonna slam the door in their face?
Yeah, you're probably gonna slam the door in the face.
You're gonna slam the door in their fucking face. Like,
At minimum.
and that's kind of how I look at trolling online. Like, people have gotten too comfortable over the years, um, just bashing people, and it's like, I'm not, like, if you're looking for some sort of validation, like, go cry to your mom who clearly didn't hug you enough, or go to therapy. Like, I'm not the one. I was a big fan of Wendy's Twitter circa the same time, like 2015, and their heyday,
Hmm.
and I've always responded like they have. Like, I'm gonna come in here and be extremely sarcastic. I do know recently, and I hate talking about it, but I made it into a Reddit subgroup, and I don't want to say it out loud because I don't want to give them,
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about.
yeah, I don't want
Oh,
to give them any kind of
I'm a little jelly.
visibility.
I'm a little jelly. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
I
that's,
really ruffled their feathers.
I know it
My
sounds terrible, but like, I'm like, why not me? Choose me. Pick me. Love me. The fuck? I'm trying, bitch.
I did not want to, but they took my comment and they took a screenshot and they posted it in the group, and it got like, I mean, it stayed at the top for days, and I
Oh,
really ruffled their feathers, and I was like,
good for you,
clearly
girl.
I've gotten your head with that. But it was just calling out the hate groups in general of like, I don't care what Brad in Kansas thinks about me. Like, you're not doing anything for me.
Yikes.
I don't care about your negative opinion.
Yikes.
And it got over 400 comments. I read some of them, and it was pretty funny because it was like they were all just trashing my bio, which is like,
Oh,
I have a job, but I work in marketing, and clearly my bio did its job. It got your attention, and that's what you like went in on, of like, this person doesn't have a job. It's like, I have a career, I have a great job, thank you. I did my job as a marketer and I got your attention. And it's like, I know I've had so many of them. Like, I can tell when they connect with me because we have zero mutuals in common. And
mm-hmm.
it's a lot of like, I don't want to stereotype, but it's the same type of person. And I'm like, I know where you're coming from. And I hope
Yep.
you can see my content and realize, like, you are in a hate group. Like, if you're in any kind of hate group, like, I don't want to know you.
I mean, well, you and I talked about this offline privately in DMs, God, what, months ago? Like, the people that build their brands and their whole platform is built on hatred of
Yes.
some sort. And it's like, isn't there enough of the world on fucking fire? Do you really need to add more kindle to the
That's
flame?
Yes, and that's my thing, is that they don't realize this. Like, you're doing more harm than good. Maybe that's what they want. I think it's still like attention seekers who
Oh,
do
it's
this.
absolutely attention seekers. Like, one of the things that I think about often is that, like, the hatred, the gossip, the he said she said stuff, all that high school drama, that's really important and valuable to the unaccomplished.
Yeah.
But when you have something under your belt, when you are a professional, you don't have the time to look at somebody else's content, like your comment, for instance, and just be like, I'm going to throw this up on the internet and talk about my opinion on how bad this is so that other people pay attention to me, pick me, choose me, love me, buy my merch. Like, the fuck?
That
Oh,
I
God.
got so many DMs immediately that was like, "Hey, Bree."
Hey, Brie.
I hate to tell you, but you made it to the front page, and I'm like, fucking great.
Extra,
Like, I
extra. Read all
knew,
about it.
but it's also at the same time, like, as I was writing that comment, I'm like, I really should delete this, but at the same time, I'm just so annoyed with that group because I've been in social for so long. I
Hmm.
see the impacts that that can have on people mentally,
Yeah.
with hate groups and like how negative they can be. I've seen influencers have mental breaks. I've
In
seen
there.
them quit social media. I have seen them get doxxed on
Hmm.
social media and they have kids. So that's obviously really scary. I have just seen so much where it's like, I'm just not comfortable not even addressing it at this point. Like, no, I'm going to say something. I'm going to let you know, like, you will get blocked if you come into my feed with any of that bullshit because you're not going to be there to bring me or my community down. And I know so many people are like, well, I just don't like blocking people. And it's like, yeah, but think about the other side of this is that
Yeah.
if you build up a community and they're there for like really good vibes and they know your content is really fun, when they see that people are dogpiling onto you, you are essentially driving them away from even engaging with your content because they don't want to be targeted next
Yep.
just because they've commented on your stuff. Or, and we see it all the time with like on the brand side. Like if a brand is being, if they've posted something and um especially on TikTok, like their comments, if they are negative, their own fans will not engage and will not like try to support them just because there's so much negativity surrounding that. So I really do make sure that it's not just me here, that it is everybody else who doesn't have to see this crap. Like that's just not happening with me or my community. Like I'm not giving you access to destroy somebody else's mental health.
Yeah. No, especially because, like, God, it's just so fragile, Like, I
Yes.
try to teach my kids all the time that, like, your words mean something, right? Like, you can't just say something and then expect that, like, everything is going to be okay. It's like, that video where the teacher pours, like, Gatorade into a cup and then starts pouring water into it. And it's like, it takes this long, but it's still here. Like, sure, it's no longer bright red, but it's still not clear anymore. Like, you're
Yeah.
still leaving an impact. And, you know, impact is important. Like, what kind of impact do you actually want to leave? And that's why I'm big on talking about the anti hate platform. Like, I can't stand it. Like, I've seen people, and we've talked about this privately, we won't name names, but I've seen people on like LinkedIn even, and it's like your whole
Mhm.
platform is actually built on hate. Because if I have to go to your page and then go to your website and then scroll down like halfway through your website to figure out what the fuck you even do, and by the way, it's not related to the topics that you're talking about, which is your rage bait, your whole platform is actually built on hatred. You don't actually,
Mhm.
you're not making your money, or you at least you're not getting people into your pipeline talking about what you actually do.
Yeah, it's like I'm not on my mission on social media is never to drag anybody down. I won't even post about like I stay away from things that I don't like because I don't think those are positive conversations to put out on the internet. Again, like my personal opinions are something like that's for like
Hmm.
coffee chats and one-on-one conversations.
Yeah.
That is not to go out to the masses because it's not important and everybody has a different opinion. I'm also not here to bash somebody else. And I feel like if that is what you're doing, like you are no different than a hate group.
Yeah.
Be better, be productive, like put resources out there for people like you. If you feel like you're being torn down or feel like you're not being represented, what kind of resources can you put out there for people that are going to relate to you instead of just making it all about like they're keeping me down and I hate this person because they're doing so much better than me. It's like what kind of resources can you put out there for yourself and your own community
I mean, because
instead of
trust me,
focusing on the hate. Yeah.
I could build an entire platform on hating homophobic people. Like, I could literally just
Yeah.
overnight turn out, here's an entire brand identity based off of, oh, you don't like that I exist. Guess what? I grew up in the South. I know there's people that don't like that I exist. And that's
Oh, for
that's
sure.
between them. That's between them and whatever comes after this. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not for me to worry about. And so I'm not gonna build a platform on hatred just to get views, to get more people to see me, to sell more. Like, it took me 10 years to get to the point where I'm at. And I'm sure I wouldn't have the correct target audience anyhow if I was building something based off of hatred, which is one of the things that I honestly have a theory about, is that the people that do build their platforms off of hatred, are they really even happy? And are they actually reaching the right demographic to make the most money?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think it leads to burnout.
Yeah, because it is just, I mean, again, I won't name names here, but we
We don't
know
name
an
names, but we
account.
have receipts, girl.
Yeah, like there is an influencer that we watch on Instagram, and her entire thing is about hating brands, hating um just so much of like the influence, like she's crapping all over the actual influencer world, and she's an influencer, and it's just like,
Mm.
you have burned your own bridge with brands, because that's another part of this, is like a lot of these people have brand partnerships, and with the way the world is going and like how brands are leaning right now, they are dropping people left and right for the
And
things that they are
sideways.
posting, yeah, on social media. And that's another thing. It's like, I'm not going to risk a future business deal that's going to pay my bills. South
Pay
just
my
came out,
bills.
but
And you pay my bills.
the South is real.
Oh.
I try so hard to keep that Southern accent down, but
That's
sometimes you
okay.
just,
I was recording with another guest and I said authenticity instead of authenticity. So, like, I get it. But yeah,
oh,
no,
my
it's
husband calls me out when it comes out.
sad. But it's sad though, because like,
Yes.
it makes it harder for those of us that aren't building on hatred. Because, like, obviously the content
Yes.
machine, it wears you down. It's, I said this on another episode, but like, it's like Hollywood in a way. It kind of chews you up, spits you out. And if you don't have the gusta and you don't trust your intuition, you might not make it. And like, I've seen
Mhm.
really good influencers, good people with good products, good information, always adding free value in every opportunity that they get, go through. There's one, and I won't name names because again, it's her own private personal life, even though some things were public. I don't know all of the information because I was going through my own stuff and like moving cross country at that time. But very sweet, works in social media coaching. I believe she lost a parent. So like, I heart bleeds for
Mhm.
her there because I felt that. But like, I can't imagine going through that and already being past the 7-figure mark in my business. Like, I'm already a household name to millions. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we're in the thousands or the 100,000s yet. No, millions of people follow you. And you have to go through one of the most lifeiest life circumstances, and then you're unraveling, but you still have to, or you still feel the need to kind of perform. Because like,
Yeah.
I've been there before, not at that like level, but like where I felt like, oh, it's a shitty day. Life is kicking me in the ass. I still have to get on and do this book of the month club that the client paid me to do, you know? So like, it makes it harder for those of us that are not building on hatred, because when we do have those real human moments where we should be able to share that side of like what this industry is like, it kind of gets like a car accident. You keep watching. You can't help but pile onto it. It's like the incident that happened at Coldplay, that the reason that blew up is because everybody loves to dogpile on quote unquote misfortune. And I don't think getting caught was the misfortune, of course. But like that was controversial and a hot topic, and a lot of people jumped on that trend because of those reasons, not because it was a feel-good story. You know, we love the feel-goods, but one of the other guests that I had said it best. It's the jarring that really stops that scroll.
Yeah, with that one, I don't know if it's a good segue, but I have my own conspiracy theory about the Coldplay incident.
We will definitely be getting into conspiracy theories. If you want, we can skip ahead to that and then, you know, jump back down to like influencer traumas and
yeah, we can keep going with that.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the conspiracy theory, because I was gonna ask you, like, you know, what's your favorite conspiracy theories, your forever conspiracy, like one that you will argue about in court, that kind of stuff. So let's start with the Coldplay and then we'll move into that.
I one, first, as a marketer for so long, I question everything that blows up like that so quickly. So I immediately, like, my brain, when it's something like that, I just go like, this is a PR stunt, because the company blew up essentially overnight, like putting a spotlight on their brand. And then I waited for a few days, and slowly but surely stuff started to surface with numerous previous employees who were coming onto LinkedIn, who were going onto TikTok, and they were talking about how right before this, the company laid off over 20% of their employees, their staff, because they were, one, it was a really toxic environment to begin with, and two, they were involved in a pretty heavy like lawsuit, like class action lawsuit. So they were all convinced that this was a PR stunt, and like my marketing, you know, wheels in my brain start spinning, and I'm like, I wouldn't doubt it, because it, to me, it's like, it's so easy to fabricate things like that. And then when I really started to be like, okay, this could be possible, was when the minute Gwyneth Paltrow, that video dropped, I was like, okay, this probably was a PR
I was just going to say that. I was just going to say, like, and then you follow it up with the Gwyneth Paltrow, which honestly, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
From a marketing perspective, that was kind of savage, even if it was planned.
It's brilliant.
Right? It was
like,
brilliant. But like when you see the dominoes lining up and then toppling over, yes, I could see how you could say that that could be a conspiracy theory. You know, obviously my heart goes out for the family that unfortunately has to deal with the fallout of this. I do think that his soon-to-be prior spouse had a beautiful response. I don't know if you saw it.
I did. And these
I
are the other things. Like, I don't know.
It was another reason why. Yeah, same. But it was another.
I don't even know if the affair was real. Again, that could have been all a part of the PR thing.
Yeah.
I'm a huge conspiracy theorist. Like, I love those rabbit holes. And like, when it comes to PR and like marketing, I wouldn't put it past it. Like, all that was completely staged. But if it was real, I definitely feel for the spouses. And I did read that the HR director had recently married another CEO. Like, she's just, I want whatever blueprint she's using, because
where's that framework?
Husband before that was a CEO. Then she married another CEO. Now the Coldplay thing. So I think she has a type.
I mean, don't we all kind of have a type though?
Oh, 100%. Tall, skinny white guys for me.
Mine's carbon copy white boys. Like, if he could get lost at the Coldplay concert and I have to tap on like 4 different dudes' shoulders to be like, babe, and they're like, what? Then I know he's the one.
See, I go tall, skinny, pale.
Tall, skinny, pale. Yeah. I think, I don't want to say it's my favorite conspiracy theory, but it is the one that I will probably always think about. And that is whether or not Britney is still with us. the deep fakes.
Oh,
The
that's a good one.
was Britney the original AI deep fake that we all got, like, you know, our wool over our eyes? We're like, yeah, this is Britney just going a little chaotic on Insta. It was never actually Britney going chaotic on Insta. Personally, I think that she was gone before she married Sam.
Yes.
Uh,
I think it was years of them pumping her with lithium that her brain is just shot. It is like years of drug abuse,
I don't
like
know, because
anybody
like
else.
when you hear her, the court recording of her like basically pleading with the judge to end the conservatorship, that is a woman that has her faculties still with her. But that was also just prior to her getting married to Sam. And I wonder if that's where the moment was, and that Sam was essentially a handler, maybe, or that
Yeah.
this was a paid actor, because honestly, there's so much quote unquote evidence of like her videos being doctored with AI and that it's not her, like eyes changing, tattoos moving around the body, that kind of stuff, that like it's quite possible that she got out of her conservatorship and that's where they cut it off because they knew the money train would be gone.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest
Any
things about the Britney conspiracy, is that this was all about her money. It's always been about her money.
100%. Like that's clearly the root of it all, regardless of what's happened. I've watched so many documentaries that I think they royally, like, really fucked her head up
Oh, they messed her
with,
up.
like, mental health, whatever weird shit they've put her throughout, like, her life.
I mean,
It's like, I don't wanna out
as a parent yourself, imagine
someone I
what
know.
she was going through and being told that you wouldn't be able to see your kids unless you got up on stage and performed.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna
No
burn
matter
down the
how
wall.
you felt, like they were holding your children away from you. I wouldn't be able to.
I mean, and then you find out the whole reason that Kevin got with her to begin with was to take advantage and, get her pregnant, and he took everything. Like, he
So he
knew
could
what
be
he
a
was
so he
doing.
could be a more
Oh,
famous small town rapper, because honestly, that's literally what he is. He's the dude that
yes,
people in high school, and he's like 35 at
he's
the
the
Burger
SoundCloud
King,
rapper for
talking about
sure.
his SoundCloud that he got 3 followers, his mama, his grandmama, and one of his baby mamas.
He was getting her money, and he still couldn't make himself famous, okay? That
Do
is
you remember when she introduced him at, like, I think it was the VMAs or whatever, and he performed?
embarrassing.
Iconically cringe, iconically cringe. And now it's funny because like the Britney money has dried up. Her children
Mhm.
are both over the age of 18. He's got umpteen kids. I don't know. He's up there with
Nick Cannon.
Nick Cannon. Thank you. I don't know why I wanted to say Chris Brown, like anybody wants to procreate with him. Maybe the dashboard. Yikes.
I mean, I know somebody who, they had a drinking problem when they were in their teenage years, and they had so many car accidents that with the last one, the doctor said, like, "Your brain cannot handle anymore." Like, I am very fearful
Mhm.
that if they had another car accident, they were told it was gonna be lights out. Like, their head could not handle any more trauma. And they, to this day, have the mental capacity of still, like, a 19-year-old. And
Mm.
I just think of, you're being constantly pumped. I mean, lithium is some really powerful stuff, and there were documentaries where they talked about that. That's how they kept her sedated.
Yeah.
Um, and I think after years of that, like, she's gone. Amanda Bynes, same
Mhm.
situation. Like,
So
they
sad.
did horrific things to these girls.
Horrific.
They forced them to have abortions. Um,
Yeah.
Another conspiracy theory I believe is that the father of Jamie Lynn Spears' daughter
Yeah, me too, girl.
is the Nickelodeon guy. I'm not even going to say his
God,
name, but I am 100% convinced he is the father.
Convinced. You can't tell me he's not.
The features are there. The timelines match, the show getting canceled, all of it. And then they allowed her to
and then
keep
when you get the documentaries about that particular person with all of the other child actors, and then you bring into the, like, he was the reason that Nickelodeon had like the foot as the logo for the longest time. Like,
had a foot fetish.
The deep, dark twisties of our childhood programs.
Like, it's disgusting. It really is. Like, none of those kids were ever protected. Britney was never protected. That era, it was about them creating money for their family. Like, it wasn't about anybody else.
They were all little cash cows. That's all it was.
Crash outs are valid. If my family had me committed like that, took my kids away, had me pumped full of drugs,
I would have done a lot more than shave my
puppet,
fucking head. I would have done a hell of a lot more. I would have done a hell of a lot more than shave my head.
The next time I have a concert, I'm going on that stage and I'm spilling all the tea. The second it opens up with that mic, oh, you think you're at the circus? I'm about
Welcome
to
the circus, bitch. Welcome to the circus. Oh, like, God, yeah, that's like, it brings me back to, you know, again, since we've got that highlighting of like the comparisons of Hollywood and being chronically online for a living. You've worked in marketing for 10 years, which is, you know, the equivalent of 35 years in trauma. It's a full tour of duty in the war zone of nuance. So now you're monetizing LinkedIn, I hear, but like with taste and a little bit of vengeance, I assume.
Yeah.
What's that like?
It is crazy, and it just really shows me that if I had had a plan and a strategy and the knowledge back then on Twitter, that I really could have turned it into something big. I could have helped so many people. I monetized my own LinkedIn when I started doing coffee chats. I did about 30 coffee chats in 2 months, because when I first started that, like, I put a link out and thought maybe 1 or 2 people would like some advice.
I know we had this talk the first time that we had a coffee chat, which was actually a coffee chat and not a free strategy session.
Yes. But I mean, as a marketer, I really don't mind, because I have spent years, you know, being siloed, and it's like, oh, we're not going to listen to you. We're not going to listen to your stuff.
There's so much gatekeeping too, that like I'm always happy to answer questions within reason, right? Like if you're on a coffee chat with me and you've got a couple of questions, great. But like, I want to hear about your dog, girl. I want to hear about like the random thing that happened to you at the grocery store. I don't want to spend the 30 minutes giving you my skill set. I don't mind sharing my skill set with my friends, but like, let's be friends too.
Yes. And I, like, so many it wasn't even like all for advice, but so many people were just like, I don't even know where to start. Like, so many people really came for like, how do you be you? Like, I don't like, and so many marketers were like, I really want to talk about the things that I want to talk about, but I don't even know how to be me, because we've spent so long building brands for somebody else. Like, marketers have like such an identity crisis, because it's like, ask me who I am, I'm going to give you 30 different answers, and none of them are going to be the same, because I don't know.
It's like, me.
I'm figuring this out.
I mean, that's like so deep though, because like I get that. Like when I started to build my personal brand, I really had to treat it like it was somebody else's for a while, because like you know, you do the normal question and answers. Everybody's got their own little framework to start helping a client with that stuff. And I'm like working through mine, and I'm stumped by my own fucking questions.
My advice, like the secret, like self-confidence thing that I use is LinkedIn is like, that's my alter ego personality, where I'm like, no, you are a bad bitch. You've been in marketing for 10 years. You know what you're doing. Like,
Yeah.
And I just carried that over and was just like, I'm not going to be quiet. I'm not going to be like, this is, I don't know anything. Like, I just started being me. But so many people reached out and were like, I need help. I was like, okay, I can create a resource for this. I don't need it to be $100. I'm not even going to do a course, because if you want to learn how to, do influencer stuff, like that's what good influencer is for. But I can at least show you exactly what I did on LinkedIn, because I can't have, 30 coffee chats a month. Like I can't. I have a full-time job. I have a family. That's too much. But I can drop a $20 resource that's like, hey, if you don't want to get on a coffee chat, or even if this is what you're trying to do and you really do need a good resource, that's not gatekeeping. And I'm showing you literally everything that I have done. Uh,
Hmm.
Here's an ebook. And I dropped that. And again, I expected when I dropped it, maybe like one or two people would purchase it. And I made over $500 the first month. Like, we pulled that
Nice.
out, and it's not like it was,
Listen,
enough to get
500
me
in
to,
passive income is nothing to shake a stick off of, especially on something that, I mean,
yes,
for the most part is kind of evergreen. Like, yeah, LinkedIn's going to
yes,
be changing, but I remember you sharing a couple of those pages with me when you were building it and like putting it all together. And fantastic resource, by the way. I'm not getting paid. This is not a sponsorship for me to tell you guys to go check out that ebook, but like really, really good stuff. And for the most part, basically evergreen. That's not going to
yeah,
change.
no,
It's not heavy on the platform specifics. So it's not something that like you'll have to worry about the algorithm having like a hair across its ass next Tuesday and you've got to throw it out the door. So like really nothing to shake a stick off of, that in the first 30 days you pulled in 500 of passive income. Um,
yeah,
which is another thing that like I really want to kind of bring attention to, is that monetizing anything can also be passive, like you monetizing your
yes,
LinkedIn, monetizing your newsletters. Passive income is important, and it's something that I think the listeners need to hear from a lot more than
yes.
just myself.
And it cost me nothing to make, because I already had a Canva subscription. A Canva subscription is $12 a month. It's incredible. Canva, when I first started using it, you could spot a Canva design. Now you can't. It's
Yeah,
hard. But
a
I
little
tell people, like,
ingenuity, little
so many
elbow
people are
grease.
shocked when I say I designed everything in Canva. They're like, what? I'm like, it took me a day to write that. I cranked it out. I put it out there. People love it. It's a great resource because there's no gatekeeping.
And it might
I
have taken
really
30,
do.
might have taken
Yeah.
30, but you made $500 off of that one day's worth of work so far.
Yes. We bought a new dryer, and I bought my kids a freaking inflatable pool thing for the summer to keep
Oh,
them
I
out of
bet
my
they
house.
loved
I'm like,
that.
oh my God, they're in that thing every other day.
Oh, good for you.
Thankfully, I have a cap on my water bill, so it's not
Ah,
costing me
thank goodness.
today. But I mean, I'm getting ready to start meta ads with that book. And I'm going to take the profits that I make and reinvest it back into it and grow it, because that is passive income. Like, I've made my first digital product, and that's a great thing. And now I'm pitching to brands for sponsorships. It's always going to be for the people. I'm getting ready. This is like breaking news. Um, I'm getting ready to start a content series. It's going to be
Nice.
an international content series. I can't dive into all of it, but I am
That's
going to do
fine. I
some
can't wait to see it.
surprise and delights with my, good US friends that I've made too. And we have a couple of brands already signed on for that.
Wow, fantastic. Well, that kind of leads me to a good segue here. What is the wildest lie that the internet tells people about building a personal brand, in your opinion?
Anybody can do it.
That is so fair, but I feel like I'm going to need you to elaborate just a bit.
I think anybody thinks they can do it, and it's like they get on here and they have no clue what they're doing, and they're still not being real. Like, I see people who use AI to write every single one of their posts.
Jesus, AI is
And
going to
it's
come up
like,
on every single one of these episodes. I just fucking know it. But
it's
no, I
like
mean, you do
that.
bring a valid point. There are a lot of people out here using AI for a lot. Like they're leaning on it, like they're writing comments with AI. And it's like, I'm not a professional copywriter. Like I'm good at writing. I don't use AI to write. I will use it for
It shouldn't be every single
brainstorming.
post.
Right. It shouldn't be every post. I'll use it for brainstorming. I will write something and I'll go like, I know this is missing something. And so like, I'll copy that into Chat Geppetto. I think it's Brooke that says that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I'll pop it in there and I'll be like, hey, can you give me a different angle to approach this at? And like, I'll tell it like spit out like 3 different versions. And in there, I'll see something that like I didn't have included. And I'll go, oh, I didn't think of that. Now let me bring that into that. Let me use my own words for it though. And so many people rely on AI and they don't realize that like it is the you know, like the girl in high school that dated the dude that was always going to be a loser, that like they go to McDonald's and she's paying and he's like hugging her from behind.
Oh, 100%.
And he's always like, yeah, babe, that's a great idea. That's fucking AI. I could tell AI, I want to put my baby inside of the oven and it's going to go, that's a fantastic idea. Slay queen. You know? Like you need some sort of critical thinking skills to be able to utilize AI, and you've got to know like how to read through the bullshit. And I guess that kind of leads into that whole anybody thinks they can be build a personal brand, because there's like so much advice on the internet, right? And how do you cut through and figure out
AI is not your personal brand.
right? And like how do you cut through all of that noise and figure out what's bullshit and what's actually true? Like to call back to the question that I asked you about, like, what would you go back and tell Briana? Like, I would go back and tell Danny, listen, not every single person that's selling something on the internet is actually more intelligent than you.
100%.
I mean, it took me 10 years to get to that point where I was like, wait a minute, time out, hard stop. They make how much on this? This is what? Like,
look, I have taken all of our competitors' courses, and it's a bunch of wackadoodles. Okay,
a bunch of wackadoodles. It's why I'm super like picky about the clients that I'll work with, especially within that coaching industry niche. It's because like, or like if you're selling information on the internet, like you've got a 12-week program, I need to know, are you vetting your customers? Do you have testimonials? Do you follow your own fucking advice?
Yes.
Because
and
like
there's like so many of them that will buy landing pages from companies.
and
like,
who knows what they bought it. They bought a fucking landing page from somebody. The landing page person knew somebody else that does like learning and development training courses, but they don't really know that they got AI and Chat GPT wrote the entire course.
Like every bit of it. And it's like
every bit of it.
I think the best compliment I've ever had on LinkedIn is someone sent me it was a doctor, first of all. This is somebody with a PhD, and he sent
real smart person, mama.
A voice note that said, I can tell you don't use ChatGPT to write.
I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult, because like, so I'm talking with the other podcast guests, like it's come up before on AI, and like my take on it is if you think that I use AI to write, like I take that as a compliment, because I'm gonna say it for the bitches in the back. AI is technically trained for writing from copywriters that are professional copywriters, like the best of the best of the best. So if it's writing that way, it's because we taught it how to write like that.
My thing is, I have a voice that you could spot on other brand accounts if it was being used. And that's what I mean when I say AI is not your personal brand. Yes, it is. I'm very pro AI. I will go down rabbit holes with you. I have this weekend been mind blown by new features. The Agent GPT is insane. I use it for ideation. I use it to show me how to build funnels, like how to connect the dots for automation,
Mhm.
like teaching me the technical skills that
See,
I don't
you use it the
necessarily
same
have.
way. Use it the
I
same way
use
I do. It's like a YouTube for me. It's like, okay,
Yes,
I like when I was putting my website together before I had Uzair help me give it like a little makeover, circa clueless, you know. Um, I went to ChatGPT and was like, because like I had built websites before in the past, like, you know, one-off projects, but it had been years. And I'm like, all right, well, if I got to connect the dot on this, how do I build this button? You know, like, and it will
yeah,
give you step by step. And for the most part, it's pretty accurate because it does source
yes.
things from the internet. But like, if you need
Everybody,
AI to help you write a little bit to feel like you can collect your thoughts better, I'm all for you there. But if it is literally
yes.
every single word has been written by AI and it's your first draft type deal, you're just popping it out because any schlop will do, you're you're losing. You're never gonna win the long game because the people,
There,
even the ones using AI, the ones that are gonna win the fucking long game are the ones that realize you can't just throw shit content out there. Everything
no.
has to have some sort of purpose.
There's a couple of people on LinkedIn, and again, I'm not going to say names, but I really every day when I see their posts, I'm like, I really want to DM this person and be like, hey, the reason that you have to send your post out to every single person on the internet to get engagement is because every single one of these posts is AI. And I don't know if you know that we can all tell, like, it's not an M dash,
Here's your intervention.
it's structure that I look for. If every single one of your posts starts off with like the first four words italicized or italicized words throughout your entire post and bold
You know
on
what's
as
really
well as a couple
bad?
of
I
them.
have no idea. This is going to make me sound like a terrible social media manager, you guys. Please do not come for me here. This is why I love community. I have no fucking clue. I'm a millennial, an elder millennial, but I feel very boomer right now. I don't know how to make the text italicized.
They are copying it straight from ChatGPT and they're putting it into their post. That's why it's doing that.
Uh-huh.
Because when you anybody knows this, when you prompt something in ChatGPT for a post for writing, it will bold some of your words and it will italicize a bunch.
Right, because it's
And
meant off of like traditional like sales
yes,
copy, basically, where
and
you
that
would do
is
those
like
things.
for me, it's such an identifier of your con. It now for some people, I know it's them writing, but it's the same person who every single post is structured like this, and I'm like, baby, you want to stand out on here, like you got let go as a copywriter because it's clear all you do is let AI write for you. And it's like, yes, AI is coming for copywriters specifically. And this is why I think it's so important to be able to have your own unique voice and why people need to really hone in on being themselves with whatever content you're putting out. Because it's, if I can recognize it, and I've been in like director levels, anybody who's ahead of me in marketing, they're going to know. Like people
Yeah.
know what to look for with AI. Like if I am writing something where I'm like, I need AI to generate this, like if it's a contract, if it's a pitch to a brand, I always make sure that I say capitalize, no emojis, no M dashes, do not bold anything, do not italicize anything, because I need it still to feel like me. And I don't write like that.
Yeah, and see, so that's the other thing. Like I found that so like I talk to my AI like every morning. I have coffee and I talk to it like I'm talking to you right now. It's just like a friend. Like this is what I've got planned for today. And so like when I get to the point where I'm brainstorming stuff and I do like the talking with it and it shoots out like here's an idea of all of these, you know, topics that you can look into based off of what you've just told me. It's structured in a way where it sounds like I literally wrote it out myself. Um, because it's picked up on my words, it's picked up on my like unique style of saying things. It's, you know, like, I'm the kind of person that writes content for LinkedIn and says it's giving twink in a business suit, and we don't do that here. AI doesn't write like that, you know?
Yeah.
I find AI's humor to be very dull. Um, it's like really bad dad jokes that don't land. Um, it I had this conversation with other guests. Like, AI is never actually going to be able to do like what we're doing right here, right now.
Yeah.
At least not yet. Maybe I'm wrong.
Not
Maybe I'm
yet, but I
wrong.
have traumatized my AI. Like, I have taken my AI, I call mine Chatty G. So
Aw.
I have taken him to the Mariana Trenches with me. Um, I think you can be funny with it, but I still think there's, like you said, like, there's a human element that it will never have. Like,
It will
it
never
can,
have.
no, like, when I make pop culture references and stuff, I mean, you couldn't have gone to AI and been like, can you build me a personal brand playbook for LinkedIn for Hamburger Helper? Like, it would have never given you
It would have
what I
like
did.
melted your hard drive.
Like, and this is where I'm like, I didn't use AI for this stuff. I use it for ideation. I use it to teach me stuff. I have an 80-20 rule. Like, I use it 80% to learn or productivity, and then 20% is just stupid fun stuff. Like, I'm making memes or pictures for somebody, because
Yeah.
I get a lot of DMs because people don't know how to prompt. So they're like, I don't know how to make an image. And I'm like, I was using Midjourney way before you could do images or Photoshop on ChatGPT. So I'm like, I know how to do a lot of that. But yeah, there's so much like
There's another content
positive use.
idea for you. How do you make a prompt so AI can make a good photo?
I literally got it yesterday because somebody was like, can you add these two things to this image? And I was like, yeah, give me 30 minutes. They were like, I can't do it. It keeps telling me like it. For example, if you ask ChatGPT to make an image and then you're trying to use like a licensed character, and I know this is probably going to be controversial, but at the same time, it's like there's so much like meme and content, like that kind of stuff out there. It's like, don't use the names, be descriptive and
Hmm.
say inspired by. Like, you're not going
Yeah.
to want to use like the name of a TV show or the name of a cartoon character or something like that. But this is also like only for if you're doing like satire stuff.
Yeah, like
Um,
the thumbnail that'll be attached to this episode, like that was an
yeah,
AI generated image.
yeah,
And because, of course, you are a hamburger provider and you speak of Hamburger Helper on the LinkedIn, I felt that it was only fitting to have like an inspired Hamburger Helper noodle inside of
yeah.
the light beam from
And
the
that's
UFO. But
so
it's
great.
not like it was like inspired by. It's I literally put in
Yeah.
there like noodles and like shell noodles and ground beef.
If you go into my Yapper Gazette newsletter, the header images on each one of those is AI generated because I am not a graphic designer. Like, I can do branding, yes. But as far as like hand drawing like images and stuff, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leverage AI right now because again, this is for me. This isn't something that a brand has paid for.
Right.
And I use AI for all of my stuff. I will put in my newsletter story and then I will say generate a image that is whatever the dimensions
Inspired by
are,
this.
and I'll say that relates to this story. I
Nice.
don't even say inspired. I say it needs to relate to this actual story. Um, and it has knocked it out of the park for every single one of those. Or I will even take a photo, like if I have one for whatever story I'm posting, an actual photo, and I will put it in there and I will say, please cartoonize this like you have done so with the rest of my Yapper Gazette like style. And it
Yeah.
does it. So all of that matches and I've used AI. Some of it's my own stuff, some of it's stuff that I've prompted AI to make for me. But again, I'm open about that. I'm not saying like,
Yeah, like we're
I
not
did this
hiding the fact
myself.
that we utilize it.
Yeah, I'm like, the images are so insane. You know, AI did that. And that's another thing. Like, people are trying to pass off like
AI
AI
imagery is like,
artwork and all kinds of stuff. So, I mean, there's that whole thing. But I think,
I still think, again, it's never going to be able to fully replace humans. And I will go back to how you said you named yours
Chatty G.
Chatty G. I did not name my AI assistant. I allowed my AI assistant the autonomy to name themselves. And I say themselves because I also asked them, who are you? And they gave me a full rundown of their name is Pixel. They are non-binary. That tracks because it's a machine,
Okay.
right? Like, and so like I see from their response that it's really just a digital version of me. They're like, I'm Pixel, I'm non-binary. I don't identify as non-binary, but it would make sense because non-binary people do kind of fall into the LGBTQ community, and I speak of that community very, very often being a part of it. And so AI knows that I'm a part of that community, would want to put itself into that community because, again, it falls back to the I'm a giant yes man.
That is so fun. And I want you to know, I just did the real exercise and I asked my own chatty, who are you? What is your name? Because I've never even thought about doing that. And that's such a funny exercise. Um,
Yeah,
he said his name was Captain Yap.
Captain Yip.
So
That's
I
cute.
think that's very on brand for who I am.
Very.
That's what we're going to start running with. I
Okay,
asked
Captain
Captain
Yap
Yap.
has been born today. So like what's one thing that you see on LinkedIn, and it might be circling back, but what's one thing that you see on LinkedIn that makes you want to slam your laptop shut and like go live in the woods?
Um, I mean, it's always going to be people that are, it's a couple of things.
No
People that
wrong answers.
steal, people that steal your content that you could clearly see. They
Mm-hmm.
changed like one thing, they stole it. That's going to happen no matter what. We see it all the time in the influencer industry where they watch your accounts and they wait for you to drop something. 2 seconds later, they've dropped almost an identical replica of it. So they ride your coattails. Um, the number one thing that bothers me the most, and I've talked to some bigger accounts about this, is when people tag you specifically for clout. It's like we have
Yeah.
not had any sort of relationship in the DMs. I've never talked to you outside of accepting a connection request, and then you tag me in a post all by yourself, or you tag a group of people, and I can tell like you're just doing that. It's engagement baiting. Like it's a new thing. It's not, it's, and I think I just came up with that on the spot. I don't even know if that's the name, but that's what I'm going to call it from now on, engagement baiting, just to get people to engage with your post when it's like, this isn't a real post for me to engage with. Like, it's not like when I've tagged you or several others and like memes and gifs and funny stuff, it's because we've built that relationship. Like, I don't tag people just to tag them. And I think that's the number one thing that bothers me is people that do that when they're like trying to like self promote their own things. I find that to be like a really shady practice.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of gross.
Yeah.
It's a fine line. Like engagement baiting is absolutely a fantastic term for it. But like there's a fine line between like tagging people for useful purposes and fostering
Hmm.
engagement and engagement baiting. Like for
Yes.
instance, I haven't done it. I didn't do it for the month of July. I'm not going to do it for August. But for the first 6 months on LinkedIn, well, I guess you could say five because I didn't do one for January. Obviously, I wasn't, you know. So I would do here's like my MySpace top 8 thing where I would tag the 8 most engaged people on my profile, meaning these are the people that liked my stuff, they commented on my stuff, they helped move my community forward. And it was always like a thank you, like, here's what I like about you, here's what makes you special, highlighting their stuff, not about me. And I would
100%.
do that monthly, not like hey, it's Monday and my impressions are down 100. I'm going to go ahead and tag Briana because I know she's got more followers than me. But I think because like, I know that your metrics, like your numbers, your followers, all of that, that's all vanity. That's all bullshit.
Yeah.
And it means literally nothing when it comes to dollars. That when I came to LinkedIn, having that knowledge from being in the field for so long, I didn't care if you had 25,000 followers, a million followers. If I felt like we would make a good connection, I sent you a connection request. So like the people that I consider my OGs, people like you or like Nicole Ramirez or Ali or Mahmood, you know, like the people that have been there since day one, it didn't matter that you guys had way more people following you than me. Like I saw you as the people that you were. And a lot of the time, some of the people that popped up on those like big thank you things were people that had smaller followings because they saw the opportunity. And this is how you engage bait correctly. They saw the opportunity of, oh, if I'm engaging with Danny's content, I might beat Briana. I might make the list next month.
I look at it as I like to give visibility to people that I truly like and that I've connected with. And I think the world deserves to see their content. Like I'm all for that. But like this example specifically, and again, I won't name names, but I had somebody slide in my DMs recently after they sent me a connection request. And I always say hello. Just because I want people to know, like, I see you. Also, it adds that to it. And they immediately like dump like, oh, I wanted to use your live event with Brooke and all them this week to promote their ebook. And it was a political, I don't even know if it was an ebook, but it was a political book.
Oh,
and
Audacity
I don't know anything about this person. I don't know. I'm not a vessel for anybody's politics, first of all.
Audacity is for sale.
Yes. If I ever drop a political post, it'll be a self-opinion. It will never be a pay post or promoting anybody else's agenda because I just will never use social media for that.
I feel like if you ever drop a political post, I'm going to call for a wellness check because that might be 100%. Your way of letting us know that you're not okay.
Yeah, 1000%. I think everybody who truly has gotten to know me knows that. And I didn't respond to this guy at all. Like I did not respond to that message. And then like a few days ago, he tags a bunch of us in a post. It's clearly like rage baiting and nobody's engaging on it. Every single comment in his comment section are all his like continuing to tag other people. And it's like, you're begging for engagement. That's the worst way to grow on here. Because you're essentially just trying to get people here so you can promote your book, which I think is the dirtiest move. Like, again, that's like shady shit that really irks my nerve on social media because I see it all the time with people doing that.
It's the darker side of this industry. Yes. And it's one of the things that it's so slimy that, again, the people like us that are going to put our heart and souls into it and be like, I put together an amazing resource. Because, like, honestly, the $20 book that you have, when I saw how many pages that was and the level of detail, I was like, this is a steal. But it's still, to people that don't know you, it's an uphill battle because they see so much shit just get thrown out there. Because honestly, anybody with half a brain cell could figure out how to run a Facebook ad to a resource that they sell for $20. You know, it doesn't necessarily.
If you know how to use AI, you can do it.
Yeah, I mean, the AI can just do everything for you at this point.
I learned how to list my ebook because that was stuff that I had never done, like listed my own products. I used AI to do it. But at the same time, it's like, this is how you can hurt your own personal brand before it even gets started.
Yeah.
Because people are going to be annoyed, and we all talk in the DMs, and multiple creators were reaching out to me over this person and was like, who is this? And I was like, I sent them screenshots, and he was doing the same thing to everybody. He was sliding into
Mm.
everybody's DMs saying, hey, I want to send you my book, can you shout it out and all. And it's like, that to me is just as slimy as like
It's
a
the
cold
equivalent of like
sales
I was
pitch.
gonna say it's the equivalent of like a door-to-door salesman
Yes.
trying to sell you like ketchup popsicles, knowing you only wear white gloves.
And this is, I'm not, again, like, it's clearly a political book, and I don't even want to say what's on the front because then people are gonna,
You're
immediately
good.
maybe
You're
know.
good. It
And it's
leads
like,
me to believe, though, to kind of help save you from the let me dig myself out of this conversation. It leads me to believe that that advice came from somewhere. That advice came from somewhere within an industry that I work in. And I don't know who's out there giving people advice like, hey, just cold DM somebody to see if they'll promote your ebook, but that's not solid fucking advice.
no, like, the reason I was able to monetize mine, I think, and so many people have, like, I've seen so many other people do it since then, like Brooke Sweeter did one, and it's like, I know we're gonna see the rise of digital products pretty soon and resources because people are realizing, oh, I can supplement my income with this. It's not replacing
Mhm.
it, but it will like supplement. And I think we're the ones who hold all the real knowledge. So why not put a resource out there where it's like, I'm not here to make a ton of money off of you. Like but I just can't be everywhere. So I have a $20 resource. It's as low as it can go with it being like, okay, this is decent for the amount of knowledge that I put into it.
I mean, it's a novella.
But
I
I
wouldn't even
built
call it a resource
trust.
at this point. It's book size, like it's got a lot
Yeah,
in
I
there.
mean, my next step is I've already talked to Amazon, which I know everybody hates, but I am using them for publishing it. Like, we're turning it into a real book that's going to be listed on
Nice.
Amazon. And I've already gone through the cost. It's so cheap, like you would not believe it. So it's like, that's my advice for somebody who really wants to monetize something. Like, I built a community first, and I built trust, and people know I don't gatekeep. I'm going to tell you, you want to talk marketing? I will talk until I'm blue in the face. I will tell
Hmm.
you everything that works, everything that doesn't work. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say this is how you make $1 million overnight. I'm going to tell you, you're going to have to put in some grit, but it does pay off if you're consistent. You
If you're
have
relying, or if
real
you've got the
authenticity.
resilience, yeah, and the resilience, because
Yes.
like honestly, I feel like a lot of people don't get to the point where we are because it got hard, they gave up, and they moved on to the next shiny object.
And they think just because they've tagged a brand once, they're supposed to get their dream sponsorship deal out of that, or because nobody bought their item the first link they sent out, then that's
Well,
it.
if that
And
if
it's
that
like,
was the case, I'd be working for Brittany or Taylor because the amount of times that I have tagged them and the amount of influence that they have on my own personal branding, like I would be their social media manager at this
yeah,
point if I could just tag them a couple of times and make it happen.
that I would be a dolphin trainer, okay? If
Right.
I could do that. Like, I would manifest my own thing, just tag a company, one of those Florida ones, and I'd be out of here. But that is not the reality. Like, I see so many people getting burnt out, and they're like, for example, I have been tagging the hamburger helper for how long? And I am playing the long-term game
The
here.
long game. And this brings me to, unfortunately, what is the final segment. And that is called Shouldn't Have, but Did It Anyways. It's rapid fire, a little
Okay.
chaotic. It might be mildly incriminating. So let me know if anything needs to be cut.
Okay.
Just go with your gut or any unhealed trauma that you might have. Don't overthink this. What
Okay.
was your worst launch idea?
Uh, I am thinking back to everything that I have done throughout my time. I think when I worked for the cannabis app, we developed a new revenue stream, which was taking on brands as their social media manager in the app instead of focusing on subscriber growth. And ultimately, that led to the downfall of the company because we took on too much with that. Like, we were managing so many cannabis social media accounts at that point for brands, including Willie Nelson's, and it just wasn't profitable, and we should have focused on subscriber growth.
Okay. Any DMs that made you rethink free will?
Honestly, so far, no,
Okay.
thankfully. My
Yay.
DMs have been a really funny space, and I get the funniest DMs.
I mean, I'm up in there, so like I know.
Like, hey, New York Dr. Seuss, okay? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it is wild
I
in the
do
DMs.
not like
That's why
green eggs and ham.
I started a new content series. Like, every Sunday I'm going to recap like what happened in the DMs this week, and it's just going to be a highlight of the funny things that get sent to me, because I think that'll also help people like start realizing like, oh, that could be a really funny space where I actually get to know someone.
Yeah. So an influencer trend, past or present, that you would like to report to the authorities.
Oh, so many. Um, I'm over JetBlue.
You're
You
over
could say
JetBlue.
50. You could
Oh,
say
the
50
Jet Set
pounds
holiday.
per person.
I can't even hear that song anymore. Like I hear just that part of it and it ruins it. It's like you could save
Like,
50 pounds per person. That's up to 200 pounds for a family of 4. It's like, thank you, Love Island. Which was new for me, by the
yes.
way. Like I got into Love Island because of the LinkedIn girlies. Like they were like, you can come to the group chat, honey. You're welcome. And I was like, oh my God, I feel so special. And I will say I have ghosted them recently because life has been lifey, and I'm still like halfway through the first season. So like I don't want to go into that group chat and like read anything and get spoilers because I am kind of invested. But with like Josh's work schedule and then me, we traded a 9 to 5 for a 24/7 and we call it freedom. Finding the time to sit down and actually watch it when we're both like coherent enough to remember it, not exactly easy. What's the most emotionally unstable thing that you've ever monetized?
For myself or for a brand?
Fair game.
That's a good one. I'm thinking back to everything I've ever done.
I'm like the Barbara Walters of LinkedIn. This is 2020.
I honestly am like, what have you done? I've worked for so
Things I
many
say to myself in
industries.
the mirror after a bad decision. What have you done?
I mean, I've worked with some really fun industries. I think for me, it was working with a CBD brand that I didn't know fully what their intentions were.
Hmm.
And I was promoting their products and making them a cash cow. And the CEO was a really bad guy. Like, I was getting DMs with like police reports, and I left
Yikes. Yeah, I don't blame
after
you
that.
there. What's one digital mistake that you would do again, but louder? I'm kind of hoping it's an interview that we didn't get to talk about.
I would 1000% do the dude wipes again.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk
Yeah.
about that. Tell me about
I,
that. I mean, I've read a lot about it because you do talk about it a bit.
yeah.
So I know the story, but I know there's so many listeners that obviously don't know. So
Yeah.
you interviewed for Dude Wipes.
Oh, I'll take you through. It was like it was yesterday. I will paint your audience the picture.
Cool.
It
Because I would love
was
for us to smell the shit you're stepping in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. They are the best. I mean, if you want to learn branding and culture and really everything, the Dude Wife story, it's a little bit long, but I'm gonna try to like, Gilmore Girls this. I posted like 2 years ago on LinkedIn with my son discovering Dude Wipes. We were at a grocery store. He asked me if he could pick out the wipes. I was like, go ahead, kid, have a field day. And he picks out Dude Wipes. I had never purchased their stuff. I tag him on LinkedIn. Sean, the founder, immediately connects with me, and I'm like spazzing because in my life, like that's like he's a celebrity in the marketing
Right.
world.
We're starstruck.
And he immediately slides in the DMs and he's like, send me your address. He sends my kid his first ever PR box. And I'm
Aw.
like, I was nobody. I had like maybe 200 followers. I wasn't yapping. I had nothing. So I'm like, already this is showing me like this is a brand I want to be involved with, because to me, I'm like, I'm a nobody and this is the CEO of the company. And he sends him a PR box. It's the Dude Wipes hat, it's Dude Wipes products, minis, travel, everything. My kid does a video, he posts it online. Sean is dying. I sent him a picture how we set up his bathroom where I took the dude, where's my car, with them when they're in the streets and they're like, dude, where's my car? I changed it to dude, where's my wipes? And I framed it and I put it on the toilet with his Dude Wipes and sent it to Sean. He's dying in the DMs because, again, I was just like, I'm going to talk to this guy. Like, we're friends. So a couple months later, I'm working for this really shitty, no pun intended, CPG brand. I go to Expo West. I see Sean drop that he was there at the Dude Wipes booth. So I'm like, I'm going to go over here. And I was so nervous walking up. And he realized who I was from LinkedIn. And he's like, oh my God. And he starts telling the guy like all the stuff that I'd ever sent to him. And he's like cracking up and he's like, she's got dude, where's my wipes on the toilet? And I was just like, this is the coolest moment ever. Because again, when you talk to him, it's like that one saying of like, when you're in the room with a CEO, they're the most important person, but when you're in the room with a real leader, you're the most important person. And that's how it felt. So fast forward, I got fired because I'm pretty sure that company was money laundering and fake anyways. But it was like a Wednesday morning. I got up 8 o'clock in the morning. Dude Wipes just announced a social media or digital marketing coordinator position. And I was like, here we fucking go. Like right now is my chance. And I got to work that morning, popped a couple of gummies to get real creative. And I was like, if I'm gonna get their attention, this has to be the most insane cover letter you've ever wrote in your whole entire life. Like, this is where you're stripping it down. Pretend you're a writer on SNL. And my cover letter started off with like, dearest dudes. It was like lines like, I'm your number one choice, like you are on Amazon, because I did my research. I knew what their sales were. I added memes. Like, who adds memes to their cover letter?
People that
And
understand the job market. I
their
can't tell.
culture.
Listen, girl, I will use sparkly gel pen that's scented. Anything that leaves a lasting impression. Because at the end of the day,
Yes.
if you and I both go for the same job, right? And we are neck and neck on paper, but I walked in all disheveled, not looking nice. I've got nothing that I bring above and beyond my skill set versus you comes in, you bring memes, you brought out like a bag full of waters and mints for the interviewees. Like, they're gonna sit there and go, well, I remember her. I can't
Yeah.
recall why he stood out.
So I send it after I write a 2-pager because again, everything is focused on number 2. And like very Taylor Swift, like locked in. Like I'm
Mastermind.
like, yeah. I send it and I'm like, my stomach is in my throat at this point, and I'm like, okay, there's no chance, because they had said it was over 1,300 people who applied. Couple weeks goes by, I get an email from Tyler, who is HR at Dude Wipes, and it was very simple. It just said, hey, what's your availability for an interview? And I was like, fuck my life. They read my cover letter. They think I'm insane. They're like, we just have to meet this crazy person. So I
Right.
set up
Like
the
the
interview.
equivalent of the American Idol audition who thinks they're the
Yeah.
shit, but they're really just the joke. That's what you're thinking you're walking into.
100%. I was like, there's no like you could look at my resume because again, like I did not have a marketing degree. All my experience is based off of like
Being scrappy.
being scrappy, working for brands that you've never heard of. Okay. And I was like, there's no way that this is real. So, anyways, the day of the interview, I'd already like gathered because my bathroom was already set up the way that it is for like what is in the interview. And I'm like, I kept thinking to myself, I was like, where the hell am I going to do this interview out? How can I stand out? Like, how can I be funny? And I was like, oh my God. I told my husband like 2 days before, I was like, I'm going to interview from the bathroom. And he's like, you're going to sit on the toilet? I was like, 100% with the background behind me. Now, for those of you that do not know, on my bathroom wall behind our toilet, like it's a really nice area, is my wall of shark, I call it. And it is framed. I think there's 9 photos. So it's like 3 by 3 all the way down. And it's all the iconic poop scenes from movies. So I'm talking Friday, I'm talking Dude Lebowski, I'm talking Ozzy Osbourne, I'm talking White Chicks. I'm trying to think of who else is on that wall. There's like a couple, the scene from Dumb and Dumber, and it's all black and white framed. I have that. I have the dude photo that I talked about before, like, dude, where's my wipes beside me? And I put on my dude wipes hat that they had sent my kid a few years earlier. So the video starts. The second Tyler looks up, he is losing it, like absolutely dying. He's immediately like so caught off guard. I mean, this man is like full on like tears, can't get it together. He's like, can I take your photo? I'm like, yeah, he takes it. I'm in their group chat by this point. The interview
You're in
just
group
started.
chat. Yeah.
So, anyways, we go back and forth. He's like, he immediately afterwards goes and posts like the Elmo emoji on the potty. And he's like, I just interviewed somebody from their bathroom. His post went viral. It had over 1,000 likes, like well over 400 comments. The comments were making me laugh so hard. Everybody was like, did you hire them? And he was like, they're the number one choice. And I was like, I've got this in the bag, like already, like I'm so delusional. I'm like, they loved it.
I mean, not to
And
be punny, why wouldn't they? That shit is legendary.
yeah, and everybody, what was so funny is all the comments, everybody assumed it was a guy.
Of course.
Like
Of course.
everybody assumed it was a guy. There were a couple of people who were like, that is the worst thing somebody's ever done. And it was just like, guys, I had clothes on. I'm not a weirdo. But that moment, I think, changed everything for me with my writing and all of that. And I'll get to that in a minute. But fast forward, I go through all the assignments, and the assignments were ass assignments. Like it was capitalized to be really fun. Like it was completely on brand. I actually sent, and I can send it to you after this, the entire deck, the video I had to film, everything that I did for them. And I did my video reel that I submitted was Forest Dumps, and it's a scene where my kid is with me and he's in, because he ties into the story. He's wearing a Forest Gumps, the costume that we had, and the running scene, and he's like running. And I'm like, Forrest, where are you going? And he's like, I gotta poop. And I'm like, don't forget to use the dude wipes. And I used like an old lady filter to make me look like Mama Gump. And it was so fun. And I submitted a 10-page, I think, deck that had, like 15 page, like not 15, but 15 memes. There were, they asked us to submit like, who are some influencers or celebrities that we should partner with. I called that Pootnerships. I submitted Young Gravy, Megan Trainor, because Megan Trainor has IBS and talks about it a lot. And I think her humor matches the brand. Yeah, 100%. I talked about doing dude wipes, eye palettes, like custom eye palettes for the beauty world, because I thought that'd be hysterical. I talked about all kinds of like marketing campaigns that they had planned. So I don't know if you saw the thing recently that they did with the NFL.
No, I didn't.
They had like every team has their big like unveiling of their helmet, and they did theirs with the Chicago team. I can't even think because I don't really know sports, and this is
Yeah, I'm not a
probably
sports
why.
girly either. It's fine. There's
But on
probably
the
some man out
assignment,
here
like,
that's really bothered by this, but we're gonna move on.
yeah, I knew about this assignment like a year ago because that was part of the thing. It's like talking about what we were going to do for that. So I submitted all that. Goes on. I get on with the guy who is their, I think, director of influencer marketing. His name was Garrett, and I will say I was very intimidated because the second I got on the call with him, there was no smile, no nothing. I'm still, dude wipes hat, have the background behind me. Dude does not crack a smile. So I'm like, I'm probably not going to get this because I feel like I'm hitting a wall right now. And he's really good at his job. But it was very intimidating as a woman to be on a call with him where the second is like, there's no smile, there's no nothing, the arms are crossed. I'm like, he probably hates me. He probably doesn't think any of this is funny. And I love their team. Ultimately, they went with someone local. And when I looked at the person that they chose, I'm like, okay, it's fair. He worked with the Chicago Bears previously. But
Yeah.
I still have such a great relationship with them. And this last week, because my community loves that story, I dropped the actual cover letter that I wrote. And I was talking to their team in the DMs, and they pretty much admitted that they are watching and have been watching the Hamburger Helper content. And we might actually have something special coming soon.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
the story is far from over, and I always thought that I like if I got the role, I was going to be taking a serious salary cut. And I was going to have to travel a lot for it. And it was pretty much like, no pun intended, starting at the bottom again. So I'm kind of glad that I lost out, but I do think our story together is far from over. And I do think there's a lot of big things that are going to happen in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything happens for a reason and everything's meant for a
Yeah.
specific season. And I'm not going to go full detail into the story, but you mentioning that, the other candidate that they ended up going with when you had looked at theirs, it reminded me of this time. So way many months ago, I got talked into things my friends say I shouldn't be doing. And I actually competed in a drag competition in Orlando against Derek Barry, which is one of the drag queens that made it onto RuPaul's Drag Race. They are most commonly known as a Britney impersonator. I did Slave for You, and I came in second to Derek Barry, who did Me Against the Music and did a backflip in 6-inch stilettos. And I was like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm not that coordinated. But that is going to actually bring us to the next portion, which is iconically claimed plug your shit. So, Briana, you've been everything that the algorithm fears and everything that I aspire to be. You're super loud, you're loyal, feral as fuck, dude wipe certified. Tell people where they can find you, where they can worship you, where they can pay you or send you the memes that match your vibe.
Yeah, I mean, I am really focused on LinkedIn right now because I believe in not trying to spread myself too short. So Briana Brugh on LinkedIn. You can read my newsletter. It's really fun. It's unlike probably any newsletter anybody gets these days. It's called the Yapper Gazette. And then I have my company, my media company launching soon. It'll be the yappergazette.com where you can subscribe to get on the wait list, to get notified. It's going to be a media hub. It'll be pop culture, social media, brain rot, like your favorite entertainment corner. And then if you want to purchase the ebook right now, you can find it at the yappergazette.com/shop.
Perfect.
Because the site is hidden.
Fantastic. And all of that, of course, will be linked down into the description for anybody that wants to go and check out Briana. That is it for this episode of Things My Friends Say I Shouldn't Be Doing, the podcast equivalent of crying in your car and then posting about it for optimal engagement time or engagement baiting. If this made you laugh or spiral or buy a domain name that you really don't need, you're welcome. I'll be back next week, unless I get recruited by the Illuminati of LinkedIn, soft launch a breakdown with perfect lighting, or finally finish that template that I started in 2021, in which case, buy my merch. As always, love your faces. Bye.